Kamala Bot needs a tune-up. The VP finally getting herself out there with more interviews and chit-chat with journalists, but her style so far has been robotic. Whenever asked to give policy specifics, Harris reverts to her pre-programmed, over-rehearsed talking points. Check out this rinse, blather, repeat.
I was raised as a middle-class kid.
I grew up a middle-class kid.
I grew up a middle-class kid.
I intend to create an opportunity economy.
Creating an opportunity economy.
Building an opportunity economy. What I call an opportunity economy.
I started my career as a prosecutor.
I was a career prosecutor for most of my career.
My career. Having a background as a prosecutor.
The programmer's still trying to work out the bugs in Kamala Bot. She's only got two settings, word salad and pander politics. VP Harris testing out her latest accent while speaking to the Congressional Hispanic Caucus in Washington. Listen.
I love you back. I grew up understanding the children of the community are the children of the community. Recently, I was in Nevada. I'm in these streets, let me tell you, I'm everywhere. We have some work to do. In fact, a lot of hard work ahead of us. But we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work, I say.
Oh, God, so embarrassing. All right, Dana, you could ask her, what are we going to do about the situation in Gaza? And she'd say, well, I was raised in a middle-class family.
Actually, her line on that one is, I won't give Israel what they need to defend themselves, but Israel has a right to defend itself. That's actually, she knows that line, and she used it yesterday. She's doing what I call prevent defense.
There we go, DP.
Right? Yeah. So they want to make no news for the next 47 days, right? They're in Survivor 47 days. So her goal is to not give President Trump anything to be able to use against her. Now, you can make fun, everybody can make fun of her and say she only has these 5 lines. She recycles them all the time. She comes up with the accent in order to fit in with the group. But here's what she needs. She has to keep her base. And they have already factored in the Teamsters situation. They would have loved to have had the endorsement. They did not get the endorsement. That is a big blow. Well, it's great for Trump. What I was told by some Democrats today is that we've already factored it in. We already knew that we weren't going to have those people because they already knew what the polls looked there. But you cannot win a news cycle if you are playing it so safe. Now, Trump is going to play the news cycle. He's going to play it. Sometimes he's going to win it. Sometimes he's going to lose it. But there's also a school of thought. I'm not exactly sure where I sit on it, but it is that whoever this race is about is the one who's going to lose. So what Kamala Harris wants is for everyone to be talking about Trump all the time because it worked in 2020. That was the basement campaign. So now she's hiding in plain sight by doing some of these safe events, but not rocking the boat so much that you would actually get a lot of news made, because the news she would make would be something like the interview she did when she was at the White House, and then after that she would be asked to go to her room for 6 months.
The risk is to that strategy is that these clips are now the news. Everyone's seeing her say the same thing over and over again, and that makes her look bad, Greg.
Well, I disagree with calling her robotic. It's more liquidy, like she's like a liquidy robot, a slinky. If a slinky could talk, that's her. And maybe because I've watched too much Selling Sunset, but it's very wine chatty. Like she needs a little chihuahua and espresso martini. She seems super relaxed. I love how she uses this phrase, opportunity economy. All she did was reverse economic opportunity. And then she doesn't explain what it is. Opportunity economy doesn't mean anything. Economic opportunity does. I think if you want her to blow a fuse, okay, because she keeps talking about, I come from a middle-class family, some reporters should ask, where do you come from growing up? She might actually answer with a specific statistic about what to do about inflation, because she'll have like, she'll go, I come from a middle. Wait a second, I can't answer with the right answer. I can beat inflation by blah, blah, blah. It could just, like, little steam will come out of her head. But it's a testament to how Joe Biden was, that the Dems are grateful for that.
Judge Jeanine, we've seen so many times her not really saying much. Did you hear when she said the children of the community are the children of the community?
Yeah,
what do you think she means by that?
Were you the one who was just saying how smart she was?
Look, you know what? When she talks about, she says, I grew up middle class. You know what? Donald Trump may have grown up more upper class, but he understands the middle class and he understands Americans and what they need better than she does. He understands it. He proved it when he was president, and he continues to talk about the issues. And Dana's right. All that they're trying to do is, she doesn't want to make news. All she wants to do is do these interviews where she doesn't really answer any questions so that we can't complain and say she's not doing any interviews. And Brian Fallon, who's one of the senior spokespersons, says, you know what, if you want to know what we do or what she would do, look at all the things she was doing before the ticket switch. Even her spokespeople can't tell you what she's going to do, except to refer to what she was doing before the ticket switch, and all she was doing was laughing and giggling. And so, in the end, they can't tell you anything. They're gaslighting us, and they're trying to make us feel like we're crazy. But I think the most important question, when you're a kid, you learn who, what, where, when, and how, right? And why, all right? She doesn't know how, and I don't think she knows why. If you ask Kamala Harris, why are you running for president? I'm sure she'd be stuck. But the best answer she could probably give is to beat Donald Trump, as opposed to saying something about bettering this country, about maybe Donald Trump would say, making America great again. You know, she's robotic. She's liquid. She's not really smart.
She's a slinky. And to Dana's point, you know, she says she's playing prevent defense. What happens when you play prevent defense? You prevent yourself from winning, Harold.
So first of all, I like the B.B. King music. Look, I wish I was going to be here the next 2 days to hear it as well.
That's like
prevent
saying
defense.
you come from a middle-class family.
Let's sing like B.B. King. I'm from
He's
Memphis.
running out the clock.
He's like, let me run out this clock.
So you say prevent defense. When President Trump, after the first debate, which he was defeated in by the dumb vice president, after that debate, he said that he won. And he said, let's assume he's right. I don't think he is. He said, if you're the champion, you don't give a second debate to the loser. So he was playing his own version of prevent defense and saying, I'm going to use this strategy. I'm not convinced that strategy works for either. The vice president says that she wants an opportunity economy. It would be great if she'd give us some elements. What does an opportunity economy look like? Is it more affordable? Is it more affordability for everyday Americans to buy a home, to raise their kids, to buy groceries, to buy gas, to pay for education? Is it stimulus or tax cuts for small businesses? Maybe their first $1 million of a small business, you cut taxes in half for them. Give us some meat on the bone. I would argue President Trump has not given us this either. He has said, look back to what I did 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Most people don't know what they did 5 hours ago, 5 days ago, 5 months ago, let alone 5 years ago. Both of them would do better, which is the only thing I was trying to say in the first segment. They should both sit down, and we deserve to see them stand side by side and have very tough questions. I would agree with you, Judge. I wish different questions had been asked the last debate. I think Martha and Brett would do a far better job at asking these questions. So you can't play prevent defense. No one wants to see that happen. The thing I learned from the things you said a minute or two ago, Judge, I don't agree with anything but that last thing. Who, what, when.
Who, what, where, when, how, and why.
I like that. I'm going to use that.
You are?
I'm going to give you
Not
credit
today.
when I do it.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.